Live from 2 News. This is Talkin' Real, powered by Strong Auto Group.
Another Thursday, another edition of Talkin' Real here on KMYU Talkin' Sports. I'm David James, along with Brian Dunseth. And Dunny, in your decade or so in the league, was it more frustrating to lose big, to get embarrassed or dominated, or was it more frustrating to walk in the locker room and think, we coulda, woulda, shoulda? It didn't have to end like that.
Yeah, I think it's kind of 50-50 for us. I mean, I was on some bad teams in this league, and we'd get thumped 5-0. We'd say, oh, it's okay. The sky's not falling. It's just one game. We can come back. And we'd rather lose one game 5-0 as opposed to losing 5 games 1-0. But I think in particular for this group right now, where they're at, it's frustrating because they're so close, but yet they've been so far away because of some of the mistakes they've made.
All right, Jeff Cassar has been preaching it all season. You can't turn the ball over in dangerous places on the field. In Vancouver, RSL turned the ball over in dangerous places on the field. Vancouver's first goal coming after RSL gives the ball away in its own end of the field, Dunny.
Well, when you clear the ball outside your 18-yard box, not too often are you going to see a goal like this. And Mauro Rosales down the right-hand side, that's a perfectly weighted ball just inside the penalty spot. And as the clearance comes out from Mulholland, Joao Plata, I like the positioning, but a lot of credit to Gershon Kofi. That is a fantastic goal, and that's got to be up, I would say, top 10 goals of the year in Major League Soccer. He absolutely tags this upper V near post.
Just before the half, RSL equalizes. 45th minute, Javi Morales bending in a beautiful free kick.
Keeper gets caught cheating, and David O said, when you watch this highlight, take a look at the way he steps, shimmies to his right-hand side, and never can you get beat goalkeeper shot, not the short wall side. And watch the way the movement of this ball in this final highlight, the way it comes back outside around Pamu Ducal and then comes back inside. That is a fantastic goal from Javier Morales.
1-1 at the half, and then RSL with a chance to take the lead in the 64th minute, but Osted comes up with a great save.
Well, and it shows you how cruel this game is, because not only could Elias Vasquez been the hero in this match, but also Kyle Beckerman right off the line, clearance from Pedro Morales, and unfortunately for Real Salt Lake, couldn't capitalize on a grave mistake from Vancouver in terms of their marking inside the 18-yard box.
Then about 15 minutes later, it's still 1-1, 79th minute, RSL makes a mistake at the top of the 6-yard box.
It's a soft throw-in, and as a center back, I absolutely understand what Elias Vasquez is trying to do. If he turns his body just 6 inches more to the right-hand side, that's right into the bouncing gloves of Nick Raimondo. The idea is right, the execution is poor, and unfortunately for Elias Vasquez, Teixeira comes in out of nowhere, gets a little toe poke, rounds the goalkeeper, and nothing RSL defensively can do about it.
One last chance for RSL to earn a point on the road. Stoppage time, a good build-up, and then Sabo has a moment.
Yeah, really poor defending from Vancouver, considering it's the dying seconds of this match, but great job from Justin Glad, who was solid in his debut at right back in Major League Soccer, and unfortunately for Sabo, that ball just tails out at the last second.
So here are the Western Conference standings. Seattle on top of the table, Vancouver second, FC Dallas, Sporting KC, and the LA Galaxy all on 21 points. Portland is in the last playoff spot, although San Jose has a game in hand. RSL and Houston are 2 points out of a playoff berth. Colorado's bringing up the rear, although the Rapids would be just 2 points out of a playoff berth in the East, and they do have a game in hand on RSL. RSL coach Jeff Cassar explains his team's recent troubles.
Yeah, you know, we're paying for our mistakes right now, and in soccer you're supposed to. It's a game of mistakes, and when teams are making mistakes against us, we aren't quite punishing them. When we're making a mistake, we're getting punished, and that's how soccer goes. We have to get smarter, better choices, better decisions, especially defensively.
So the question is, it wasn't that long ago, RSL would bring high pressure.
Yep.
Other teams would lose the ball, they'd cough it up, and RSL would make them pay. How have the tables been turned? What's happened? And how much does that play into a team's confidence and psyche?
Well, at the end of the day, the easy, simple solution is the fact that they've been just ridden with injuries and international duty, suspensions, all of those have come into play. That's an honest excuse. That being said, I think each and every single one of these players will say it just hasn't been good enough, that including the staff. And I absolutely agree with head coach Jeff Cassar on both sides of the ball. The biggest issue for me, though, DJ, is the fact that this group right now is facing 6 out of the next 8 games at home. You got to get big-time points out of this important stretch.
Got to get it right now.
Absolutely.
How many points? So 6 out of 8, 24 points on the line.
Yeah.
Chance to earn 18 of them at home.
Minimum.
They're sitting on 17.
Yeah.
If they get 13 and get to 30, is that enough? They got to do better
I'd
than
say
that.
even
Got to be
more.
around 35 when this is
I would
done?
say based on the 3 draws early in this season, you've got to turn Rio Tinto Stadium back into the fortress and make opponents fear playing in that venue.
Has that been lost, you think, that edge? Are teams scared coming in?
No, I think the results kind of change
maybe
things.
intimidated.
The results change things in favor of the visitors, but I still think it's a very, very difficult place to play.
All right, here we go. Dunny has got a toy, the Telestrator. He loves to explain soccer and break it down for us. What are you going to show us?
Well, we've been talking about critical mistakes and critical moments, and all of these mistakes for Real Salt Lake have been punished, and rightfully so. But you look back in Chicago, Elias Vasquez goes down. It's a great chop from Maloney, and that will allow Jeff Larenowitz to step to the spot, and you just get caught defending in the wrong position. Now let's move up onto the road in Montreal, and I want you to take a look at Dominic Oduro and just watch the way he applies the immediate pressure on Jamison Olave. And as this ball comes out of Devin Sandoval, if Olave goes to his right-hand side and just pumps the ball up out of the line, it alleviates all the pressure, it alleviates everything, and he would recover on this play, but as the ball was recycled back out, it would be an Andres Romero goal. And those simple mistakes are mistakes that just can't happen as a center back. You go back in LA, and I want you to keep an eye on a couple guys in particular. Watch Jose Villarreal and Alan Gordon, the way they apply the pressure, and then watch the spacing in the midfield for the LA Galaxy and the way they force the mistake from Jamison Olave. Gets caught under possession. Alan Gordon steps up. Varanen pushes the pace, and then Maganto down the left-hand side, and it ends up being a handball in favor of the LA Galaxy. Those are the transition plays in particular where Real Salt Lake absolutely can't get caught with the ball at their feet.
RSL plays the first of the 3 Rocky Mountain Cup games with Colorado Sunday at home at 3 o'clock. And it hasn't sold out yet. Once again, RSL's depth and youth will be tested. 18-year-old Justin Glad played well in Vancouver. Now with Kyle Beckerman and Nick Raimondo away with the national team, John Sturzer and Jeff Attanella will have to fill in.
It's big, I'm one of those guys. I'm not playing every week, and any chance we get an opportunity to play, you're going to have young guys, and you're going to have guys that aren't starting a lot that want to make the most of their opportunity. So, you're going to see guys step up. Justin did a good job of that on Saturday.
All right, pressure on the young guys now. Dunny back at the Telestrator with a look ahead. Dunny, what are you going to show us?
Well, we're going to talk about the game with Colorado at home against the Portland Timbers, and very similar in terms of Colorado making mistakes that they just shouldn't make. And you take a look at Gaston Fernandez, watch the run just off the left shoulder of Urruti, and that's off a throw-in. It's so simple defensively for the Colorado Rapids to deal with, but take a look in the way the positioning, and just watch how deep Gaston Fernandez is, the way he flares out, and look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different defenders with no immediate pressure on the ball. No one tracks the run of Fernandez. Far post, side net, nothing the goalkeeper can do about it. Now, the response from Colorado, it ended up coming late, and it's just a hopeful ball clipped in, and as the late run pops up, Cronin just blasts that ball inside the left foot, far post. Absolutely nothing the Portland goalkeeper can do about it, and it's a hopeful ball played in off the chest. The way it drops back, and Cronin takes this ball really, really well. Dying seconds, you would think that would be good enough, but take a look at the clock in the upper left-hand corner. Dying seconds. Now watch, for Colorado Rapids, there's just 3 defenders. But how many attacking players for Portland are there? Well, there's 5. Seconds remaining in this match. You think a point at home after coming back from a poor goal would be good enough. Yet defensively, they get caught in transition. Absolutely no reason that the Portland Timbers should score a goal like this. And Jack Jewsbury, Captain Jack, pops up in the right place at the right time, and that was the difference. When you take a look at the starting 11 for the Colorado Rapids, I want you to take a look at two players in particular, Juan Ramirez and this man, Dylan Powers. When they play underneath Gabby Torres up top, this team is undefeated. 4 wins, 4 draws with +5 goals against average. Now you take a look on the other side for Real Salt Lake and their starting 11. Now keep in mind, no Nick Raimondo, no Kyle Beckerman, so Jeff Attinella will get the starting goal. I'm going to go with a 4-3-3 formation. This is going to force Luis Gil to tuck inside. Luke Mulholland's going to have to do a little bit more defensive work. Joao Plata, his responsibility is going to get up and down on that left-hand side, while Sebastian Jaime is going to have to get up and down on that right-hand side. DJ, the question, though, becomes, how do you even begin to fill the shoes of a departed Kyle Beckerman, especially playing in that 4-3-3 formation that gets you all the offensive firepower that you possibly want, but you still lose that one guy that connects the defense to the midfield?
Some people, I think, when they got Sturzer, and obviously he's been hurt for 2 years, he's just been through all kinds of bad luck, but they thought he was an heir apparent. Do you think we get a glimpse at him? Obviously, in that starting 11, you're not convinced we'll see him this week.
Well, I'm not, and only because in the past it's been Cole Grossman's been the like for like. Sturzer's been on the side of the diamond in a lot of roles, and he can play that role, but also Pekka, Wellington Pekka, the Brazilian, who's gotten a start in LA, he could potentially be in that same position. But when you're losing a guy like Kyle Beckerman, there has to be some sort of familiarity, and I think Luis Gil and Luke Mulholland could potentially replicate what Kyle Beckerman does, but they have to do it well, and they have to do it together.
All right. So, Dunny, it is time. What are the Master Electrical keys to victory?
Well, it is about eliminating mistakes, and that's the difficult thing is in critical moments, we've seen those critical mistakes, and ultimately, they've been the undoing of Real Salt Lake. Who steps up? No Nick Raimondo, so we know Jeff Attinella gets the opportunity. No Kyle Beckerman, who can step up in that leadership role in the central part of the midfield. And then most importantly, you got to get 3 points at home. 6 of the next 8 matches are at the right, so you've got to defend the right. You've got to make sure that every single person on that field knows exactly what's going in to these next 2 months.
They could probably use a loud, sold-out home crowd behind them. All right, the Champions League draw is also set. What, if anything, do you know about Guatemalan and Salvadoran soccer?
Well, for Municipal, that's the club where Marco Papa, Carlos Ruiz, Jaime Pinedo, the goalkeeper for the LA Galaxy, all came out of. This is a team that knows how to get results, whether it's at home or on the road. It's not the same powerhouse of a team like Olimpia from Honduras, but a good team nonetheless. The good news, though, Santa Tecla, they have a guy named Darby Carrillo. He played for Cal FC in the Open Cup, played for the Atlanta Silverbacks, which beat Real Salt Lake a few years ago in Atlanta. This is an artificial surface in Santa Tecla. It's a younger team, but it's a hungry team, and they're tricky tests, even though I think it is a very, very fortunate draw for Real Salt Lake in the big scheme of things.
All right, remember, Colorado is a Sunday afternoon game, 3 o'clock. It is currently slated to be broadcast on ESPN News. Dunny says depending on what happens in the NCAA Baseball Super Regionals, the game might move over to ESPN2. Now, if either one of those are a problem for you, well, there are still tickets on sale at the box office. Dave Fox with Game 1 of the NBA Finals next.